Close to you here. Is it loud enough? And then this, I've got it, this is for the YouTube.
Turn your head when we get to the agenda item.
Maybe I should hold them both.
When we get to the agenda item, we'll say, okay.
All right.
Next order of business is item.
Welcome to our May meeting, and
Just announcing.
call it to order. And let's start with the pledge to our allegiance to our flag. And I'm going to ask Kristen to do this.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, council members. Oh, there's a minute. Good. You have a copy of the agenda. Any changes to that? Usually, we ask Garrett, I ask Chris. Any changes to the agenda?
Do not believe so, sir.
Okay. At this time, let's go ahead and ask the council to approve the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda.
Okay, motion. All in favor?
Aye.
I don't think anybody's opposed, so we'll move forward now. Under appearances, the first thing we have is to recognize the City of Ball Ground Police Department. And this is something we're doing for National Police Week, which will be May 11th through the 17th. And so how many police officers do we have here?
Got a total of 5 right now.
Well, we have 8 officers now. And I'll just say that in my time with the city, this is the most unique experience I've had with the police department. You guys are great. And so we want to recognize you by setting this up as the National Police Week. And we also want to have something to give you. And should I give it to somebody, the ones not here?
I'll get it to them. We'll get it.
Well, Chief isn't here.
Correct.
Matt is in the back.
Yes, sir.
And Matt has been here since 2013. He is, he's the longest police officer we have. Stewart's not here.
He is. He is
Okay.
actually left for Guatemala today.
Well, he's the second, he came in 2015. Now we've got Parker. You've just been with us for a year, haven't you? A year as of last month?
Yes.
Well, we're glad to have you. And Bill?
Yes, sir.
You've been here since January 24.
Yes, sir.
So that's great. And Josh? 2020, right? 2022. So, and we have also Cliff. Cliff is brand new. He joined us in December. So again, our police department needs to be recognized, and we're doing it. We do it every year at this time of the year. But at this time, I'm gonna hand off a.
These are the ones that are here, these are the ones that are.
I'm gonna hand a proclamation. Proclamation is I've signed it, but it's from the council, right, council?
Yes.
So I'm going to come out and share that. Now, I've been told to talk louder, so the people on YouTube can hear. I'll try to do that. They said turn this around for some reason. But, again, I'll show you this is the proclamation that we usually give it to the chief, but I'll give it to Josh.
Josh deserves it, sir.
But it is a proclamation, and for proclamations, I have to read them. I don't like doing it because they're too long, but I always read the last one, that paragraph that says, I, A.R. Roberts III, Mayor of the City of Ball Ground, and City Council, do recognize the week of May 11th through the 17th as Police Week in recognition of the service given by the men and women who, night and day, protect us through enforcement of our laws. So I'm telling you, we have a great police department now. Where is
Eric's on paternity leave.
Yeah, you just had a baby.
Well, he did.
Eric, I say, we have an Eric as a city manager, but our police officer, I say he's Eric with a K. That's what I call him, but he's been outstanding. He actually gotten awards through Rotary Club.
He did.
But let me go ahead and hand out, Matt,
Thank you, sir.
there's something.
Thank you.
Josh. Cliff,
Think so.
thank you. I like your ink.
Appreciate
Parker
Thank you, sir.
and Officer Bill.
Thank you very much, sir. You saved the best for last. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mayor. It's true, it's true.
Thank you.
sir. Thanks, sir.
Thank you. And you want to give these together?
I'll make sure they get them.
I don't want to be responsible.
That's for Stuart and Eric with K,
Sir.
and Jamie,
Yes.
our chief. So again, we appreciate everything you do, and May is your annual approval. So thank you too.
Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Thank you all very much.
Do the next one, too.
We're also doing this proclamation, City of Ball Ground, Professional Municipal Clerk Week. And as you know, our clerk, we had a clerk for 39 years, but we have Kaylin is our clerk now, and she joined us this year, even though she joined us with the city in 2023, right? So we do have a proclamation. I'll add to it. I, A.R. Roberts III, Mayor of the City of Ball Ground and City Council, do recognize the week of May 4th through May 10th as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our professional municipal clerk, Kaylin Bush. And I'll say this, she has been clerk now for 5 months, and she's been outstanding. She really has, and I'm so glad that you took the offer. So, but again, anything you want to say to her?
I just said, I told Kaylin that since Karen was here for 39, she's gonna be here for 40. She told me 45.
Well, again, I'll share the proclamation, but to be honest, she gave it to me. As she puts it together, but I appreciate it, and I'll give you your card, your gift, and we'll see you again the same way next year. at this time.
You're gonna get a picture.
Thank you so much. She puts up with me well. I appreciate it. Okay, now we'll move on to, we have two appearances. The first one wants to speak, Greg Edgar. Greg? turn the microphone around now.
Mayor, council, thank y'all for having me. I'll be brief. I wanted to bring up I'd call it a pet peeve, but I hear it a lot. I'm not one to take it to Facebook, so I thought I'd come tell y'all. The 2 four-way stops. The problem that I have is that we on a regular basis have people out there soliciting funds for various and sundry reasons. And I realize that, and honestly, I find it to be an unsafe environment, not just for them, but for me and my family as drivers. Because the last thing I want is for anybody there to get hit, but I don't want my family to have to live with that. I don't think you want your family to live with it. I would encourage you, so I'll give you 3 examples just so that so last week I turned out going on Howell Bridge, and a lady and I'm assuming her teenage daughter were coming across the street. Well, they were in the median, but they passed just behind me. And literally, if I'd slammed on the brakes, they would have run into me. I don't know if they were paying attention or not. Tuesday of this week, my wife comes home. There's a line of cars parked in the median on the right-hand side, and all kinds of kids out there with their parents, I assume. But, and I'm sure there's rules about how many people and all that kind of stuff. But when you see kids calling to other kids to run across the street in rush hour traffic, even though it's inching along, it's still an unsafe for everybody. The last one that I want to bring up is the 4-way stop in town. Typically, we only see the adults doing that, but I find that the traffic is backed up just as bad as if one of those 18-wheelers that periodically breaks down at that stop sign. So basically, what I would respectfully submit to y'all is that we need to do away with it completely. Not make new rules about who can do it or how many parents are supervising, that type of thing. I think it needs to go away. I don't see any redeeming value for the community. It poses safety threats, among other things. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure there are a lot of people that agree with you.
Absolutely.
And what's funny, if you turn the clock back years ago, GDOT would not allow it. I don't know why they do allow it now, but can we verify that?
We can certainly verify the traffic laws as they pertain to people standing in the intersections. This is an issue that has come up recently internally, so we've been talking about it. I can tell you that the 4-way stop at Howell Bridge Road won't be very conducive to people here in the next couple of weeks. Right. We'll start the roundabout project here in a couple of weeks, like I said. But yeah, we can continue to have these discussions internally and see what we can do about it.
And I'll just add, I myself have a problem with it and have on a couple occasions spoken with Eric. Problem is, even like our road coming through downtown, that's a state highway. They allow it, so they allow it. We can't enforce it to have them not do it because it's a state highway, is what has come back to me. So as crazy as that sounds, I know, but unfortunately it is a state highway, and that's even at the 4-way over there, it's, the state area, so, and that's how they're getting away with doing what they're doing, so.
We're very aware. I
Yeah.
have asked about it also, sent pictures of kids in the road.
So we agree,
We
I agree with you 100%,
Yeah.
but unfortunately our hands are tied because those are not our roads, so.
I wonder if we could say, okay, you have to buy a permit from the city to do it
That's been discussed.
for like $1,000. But again, if you turn the clock back years ago, it wasn't allowed. But I guess it's changed. Things change all the time through the legislature particularly. But we appreciate your input on that. Next, Richard Nito. Hey, Richard.
Good evening, Mayor and council people. My name is Richard Nitto. I live in North Mountain Brook. Have been there for 11 years. I'm sure you all know that Pulte developer has started clearing the 98-acre subdivision that he's planning between Jordan Road and North Mountain Brook. No problems with that at all. He also purchased and cleared the lot at 118 North Mountain Brook to enable him to connect sanitary lines and water lines from Blakely, I believe that's the name, Blakely Station, to the North Mountain Brook utility system. And he also plans to put a house on that lot, adhering to North Mountain Brook subdivision requirements. A number of our neighbors have been told that there will also be a sidewalk on that utility easement connecting the two subdivisions. That sidewalk would supposedly benefit Pulte's residents by allowing them to use North Mountain Brook's sidewalks to reach the city's sidewalk system, which is currently under construction along Old Dawsonville, for quicker access to the city's parks. Why is that a proposal such a concern to my wife and I? Our home is adjacent to that utility easement. The sidewalk has the possibility of 300 residents going through that sidewalk, on the sidewalk, past our deck, our home deck, that we use often. So I have a few questions for you. I could spell them all out or one at a time, but what is the status of that sidewalk?
The sidewalk plan was part of the previous proposal when they were looking to make a roadway connection through there. If you remember, the fire department was demanding or had the requirement that they have 2 roadway entrances to that subdivision.
Very well remembered.
When that connection could not be completed, they pivoted, and that's when they turned to the plan to construct a single home on that lot.
Okay.
There are no plans for sidewalks between the 2 subdivisions once they construct the home.
Now or in the future?
I've not seen anything, and I don't understand, I don't believe they're looking to have a sidewalk. It'll be a home there, and then
I
a
have
utility
the
easement
plans for
right
that
next
house,
to it.
yeah.
So, yes, no sidewalk as far as I know.
That's all. If there's no sidewalk, I have no gripes.
Well,
Everybody-
that was, we were concerned about a road being put through there.
Oh, believe me, I was real concerned about a road going through. I understood that he couldn't use it for construction and it was only for fire. And I understood that. And I had talked with Chris and Eric about this. But the rumors that the sidewalk was still in play coming through there was real concern for us.
And that's what I was told, that there would be a sidewalk, so that's changed.
I haven't seen anything that shows a sidewalk since the plans were for that lot to have a roadway on it. The most recent plans I've seen are for just the home.
And those plans are approved and that's
No,
what we're working on.
The building plan they submitted has not been permitted yet.
For the home
For
itself.
the home there on that lot. We
Okay.
were still looking into any potential conflicts between the water and the sewer there within that easement. So
Better hurry, because they're building it right now.
I understand they've cleared it, and I know Eric's been working with them on some of the utility stuff, and probably you too, David. But no, they shouldn't be doing any sort of home construction yet. I think right now is just the utility work.
A home there is not a problem. It really isn't. Would that sidewalk be Pulte's decision? I mean, I can't imagine him putting a sidewalk alongside a new house
Yeah, I don't
and
think that.
selling that house saying, oh yeah, there's a utility easement, plus these people over here 300 can walk down the side. I mean, I can't believe that he would want that.
Yeah, as far as I know, they've abandoned the idea for the sidewalk. And like you're saying, I don't see that would be something a potential buyer of that future home would want. So I would be, surprised if they pursued it. But like I said, we haven't seen anything with the sidewalk in quite some time.
You'll let us know?
You're free to check in, and we'll let you know.
I do. Thank you very much, everybody.
right, thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Sorry to take so long.
I think if the sidewalk was talked about early,
Yes.
and I was under the impression that it would, because it's coming out of another neighborhood, I don't say subdivisions, I say neighborhoods, that there would be a fence put on both sides of it, so it would be kind of private for the people
Yeah,
living.
they had a plan at one time that had, the sidewalk and fencing and landscaping and all that. But again, they've scrapped that plan in favor of building a home on that lot.
All right, well, they'll have to, in the new neighborhood, unless the county extends the road, the sidewalk along Jordan Road, past Mountain Brook North, then they'll have to walk down the street to get on the sidewalks there at Mountain Brook North. But maybe that's something we should ask, or the developers of the new might consider running a sidewalk on down Jordan Street. But again, since that house is being built now there, there's not going to be a sidewalk at that location. But anyway, but Richard, thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll move to our agenda says announcements from the city manager, who is not here. I'll say the assistant manager.
Yes, sir. Coming up, we have a couple of, our premier events here in the city of Ball Ground. When you pulled up tonight, you probably saw the Botanical Garden is a little more crowded than it typically is. This Saturday, May 10th, is the Garden Club's plant sale. So please come out and support this great group that does so much for the city of Ball Ground. And then 2 weeks after that, I think this is our third Guardians of the Jukebox concert. They put on a great show for us. So May 24th, we'll have them downtown at the stage at City Park. So come out and have some fun there.
Okay? And of course, things that go on that we include in announcements, they're on our app. We're the only city here in Cherokee that has an app that lists information about the city, and it's very beneficial. So if you don't have an app on your phone or your tablet for that purpose, just come in here to City Hall and we'll give you the link to it. But it's good. Okay, we'll move now to approving the minutes from our last meeting, April the 10th. Council members, you've received a copy of the minutes. Any changes or? She does a good job. She do. So a motion to approve, second?
I'll make a motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Good. All right, so,
Do we need to do separate approvals for the different minutes for executive session? So I'll make a motion to approve the executive session minutes from April 10th.
Second.
okay, that was session after our meeting. So it's second meeting, but that's something that it's just people here, sitting up here. It's not out for public, but we still have to do minutes on it. So have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain, I wasn't there.
Abstain. So nobody opposed. So we have 4 favor and 1 abstained. Okay. At this point, we're going to move to,
Just have one more.
the third one at,
May 1st minutes.
at our work session?
The only two we have here on the slides from Eric are April 2025's regular meeting and then May 2025's special call meeting. I don't believe that we approve minutes from work sessions. Is that correct?
Okay, this time we'll move to old business. The first is consider a second reading of annexation ordinance Wanda Anderson, Lee Lusk. You want to give us a update on that, Chris?
Yes, sir. This is the first of, two ordinances pertaining to the Wanda Anderson estate property. The first is the annexation, and one we'll talk about next is the rezoning. As Eric has told you all before, the guidance is that if you intend to rezone the property, approve the annexation. If you do not intend to rezone the property, deny the annexation. So this Wanda Anderson proposal, the annexation is part of a proposed development for 38 new single-family homes. We've talked about the conditions surrounding this one. I think all parties are in agreement on those conditions at this time. This comes with a unanimous recommendation for approval from the Planning Commission. I think the biggest topic of discussion throughout this one was the roadway access to the adjacent ALO site, which would create, a through street. We mentioned at the work session that the grades just don't lend themselves to providing that through access, that connection to the ALO site. As this case has advanced, the applicant has advanced in their engineering of the site. And so they've shared some site plans and some grading plans with us where it's apparent that the two sites aren't going to link up and allow for that connection. So just the one roadway connection there to the north at Cartersville Street. And then we have a condition that's left it open and in the city's hands that if something were to change in the future and interconnectivity were a possibility, the city would be able to control that. So we would have the right of way, we could gate and block one end versus the other. But again, it's not looking like that's going to be a possibility with the way the grades are shaping up.
And we've had the first approval
Yes, sir.
last meeting, and also during our work sessions, we spent a lot of time talking, and I believe now we seem to be in agreement to move forward on it, the rezoning and the annexation. So right now, the annexation is the first item for us to vote on. So could I ask for an approval to consider the second reading of the annexation of this property?
So moved.
Okay. Motion made, seconded. Any further discussions?
I do have a question on this particular property. I know that we discussed it in a work session, Chris. But with the emergency access, and this is only going to be one way in for emergency access, and that's going to be on Cartersville Street. Okay. That's all.
Just one access. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so the property now has officially been annexed. And now we move to the second item under old business, and that is the rezoning of that property. You want to give us an upgrade? We heard it all, but I like people here to understand what we're doing. So, Chris, if you give us an update on the rezoning.
Yes, sir. I'll add that the property is currently zoned R80. That's a very low-density residential zoning district. The adjacent Lantern Walk subdivision is more of one of our dense subdivisions. I don't have it written down what that is. I believe it's TND, which allows for up to 10 units an acre. So the requested zoning that is before you tonight is to zone it to RZL, which is more in keeping with the surrounding areas. You have the interstate on one side, you have potential commercial property to the south, and then you have the relatively dense subdivisions to the east and the northeast. So it's staff opinion that RZL is not, out of character zoning district, and I believe that the Planning Commission's unanimous recommendation for approval concurs with staff opinion.
Okay, again, this has been voted on in our last council meeting, and it's also lots of discussion and agreement at our work session. So at this point, I'll ask council to a motion to approve the second reading of this rezoning ordinance. Okay, motion by Scott,
Second.
second by Dennis. Any further comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's unanimous, and so we'll move forward now to the next annexation, old business. We have another annexation that was brought up at our last council meeting and also at a work session. You want to, should we ask, Josh Briggs here, that his property, that he's asking for annexation and rezoning, so, but I'll let Chris do this instead of you.
Yes, sir. I'll repeat my line from earlier that this is the first of two votes for this particular development. If you have intentions of rezoning this, please feel free to approve the annexation. If you have no intentions to rezone, we recommend that you deny the annexation.
Is this a second reading?
This is the second reading, yes, sir.
Yes.
The first item here for Two Little Hands Farm is the second reading of the annexation ordinance. This is a little bit different than what we're accustomed to. The applicant is seeking to go from, is it R40 back to ag. So instead of trying to jump up in what they're allowed to do in terms of densities and uses, they're seeking to kind of roll back from the R40 to ag. The purpose of this is for the development of a family farm. We have, like the previous case, we have talked about this at our first reading and then our two work sessions around this item. We've attached some conditions, so no weddings, no Guardians of the Jukebox concerts, things that, conditions that we believe will keep this compatible with the area. So, yes, this is the second reading for the annexation for Two Little Hands Farm.
And I'm gonna abstain just for the clarity of the ethics since Josh is building my house.
Okay. At this time, could I get a motion to approve the second reading of this annexation?
Motion to approve.
Okay, second?
Second.
Vicky? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And one not voting. So it's four in favor, 0 against. So at this point, we'll move now to the rezoning of the property, and that is again rezoning from R40 to AG. And anything you want to add to that?
I'll just add that this was also a unanimous recommendation from the Planning Commission to rezone the property to ag.
Okay, we've had the first reading, so can I get a motion for the second reading of this rezoning?
Motion to approve rezoning.
Okay.
Two Little Hands.
Kristen? Scott? Scott? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it's
And I'm
unanimous.
abstaining from that.
It's 4 and 0 opposed, and you're not voting on that too.
It's nice to see a farm come into Ball Ground instead of a farm going away.
All right, the next item under is another second reading, and that's our budget. Our budget runs from July 1st through June, so this will be effective July 1st, this year, and then it'll go through June 30th of 2026. We approved the first reading of the budget. The budget has been placed in the online. It's been available And what's interesting is over my years here, we've never been this high. We're growing. And so you can see that we moved up 10% from last year. And we're up, you can see, if you turn the clock back to before we had City Hall here, our budget would run $250,000, $300,000. That's all. But again, we're bigger and more active now, and so Eric works on the budget, and we all study it and agree to it, and so we've done that already and voted on it. And so at this time, could I ask for a motion to approve the second reading of this budget? In Georgia, budgets have to be ordinances. So we have to count it as a first and second reading like an ordinance. So I'll ask a motion to approve the second reading.
I make a motion to approve the second reading of the budget.
Okay. Dennis?
Second.
Second, Christine. Any further comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Eric does a good job. Don't you agree, Chris?
Yes.
He really does. And so, again, it's on, if anybody wants to see it, it's on our website. So we'll move on to the last item that's under old business, and that is changing our ordinance about alcohol to allow open containers downtown. We'd approved it for Friday and Saturdays, but we're going to approve it now for Thursdays through Sunday. And we're not doing it like other cities all the time because we have so much truck traffic. But so we're restricting it to a certain area of downtown. It's called entertainment because it's actually the districts along the roads. It's like an E down. It goes down Old Kent Road and Gilmer, and then down over Dawsonville, and then down. It doesn't go all the way to the new road across from.
Yeah.
But it's
Spells out a letter E for entertainment.
But anything you want to add, Chris?
No, sir. Well, I'll add that internally speaking, we've heard that it's been a very good thing. Our police haven't complained about, tons of issues. We've heard from our business owners that they're doing well with it. In terms of stickers and cups and all that, we're learning little things, but nothing major. So I think overall it's worked really well. I'll add that we have, with this proposed second reading of the ordinance, not only have we added in the days of Thursday and Sunday, but we've also expanded the hours up to 10 o'clock on, I believe it's Friday and Saturday are now 10 instead of 9.
Okay, so again, this is something we've discussed and talked about a lot at our work sessions, and we've approved the first reading in April. So at this time, could I get a motion to approve the second reading of this ordinance to amend alcohol?
I do want to also let the public be aware that the open container does not include the ball fields where the kids play, all that, so people cannot be in that area. There's a cutoff. But each business has the map that patrons can look at and see exactly where they have to stay in that boundary. They can't walk down Valley Street or anything like that. It is a coordinated area. Mostly this was for small little connection park downtown. A lot of the restaurants this time of year would serve food that have, so we wanted to expand it that way. That's how that kind of came about. But, questions about ball field, there'll be nothing in that area.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good. So that goes into effect
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. So tomorrow at 4 p.m. Yes. Okay. Okay, well, again, we've covered now the number of old businesses we have on the agenda, and the next item is one item of new business, and it's considered the first reading. It's a first reading to set up a local historic preservation commission. We're moving forward to actually putting in a historic preservation ordinance, but the first, under the state, we have to actually put together a commission through an ordinance. So Chris has worked a long time on this proposed ordinance, and we did talk about some of it at the work session, but you want to give us any additional updates?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Like you said, this is the first of 2 readings, so this will be back on the agenda at the earliest next month. The passing of this ordinance is just the first of 6 steps the state makes you walk through. This seems to be a theme, as we learned with the impact fee program. You have just a series of hoops you have to jump through. So we'll finalize step 1 with the passage of this ordinance. This ordinance essentially forms that body, that commission that has specific tasks they must complete before the next step. So what they're going to have to do once they're formed with this ordinance is they're going to have to do an investigation of ball ground. They're going to have to do a survey of the homes and the buildings in the city, and they'll prepare an inventory. And then with that inventory, they're going to make a recommendation to you all, and they're going to say, here's what we have in ball ground, and here's the district that we recommend for the purposes of historic preservation here. They'll have to prepare a report, and then that report will ultimately come before you all, and it will be sent to the state for review and approval. They'll also have to work to put together design standards. So this is the document that the commission will eventually use to review applications if somebody wants to build a new home within the district. This builder will be given this document. It'll be available online, I'm sure, and they'll have to build a house that conforms to those guidelines. And then, well, let me back up a little bit. They'll have to bring their home plans to this commission, where this commission will use those design guidelines and say basically yay or nay. So those are the steps that the commission will have to undertake here. Again, is preparing that inventory, recommending a district, creating a report that comes to you all and goes to the state, and then developing the design standards. Once they do that, a whole new step, starts taking place, where we'll have to notify property owners and all of that. But again, just this ordinance is just to form that Historic Preservation Commission. This commission, as the model ordinance that we've circulated and you all have reviewed, has the commission at 5 members. What we talked about at the work session was term limits. You all seem to be in agreement that term limits probably weren't a good thing for this commission in a small town like this. This is always something you all can go back and amend down the road. You can amend ordinances. But we've removed the requirement for term limits per the guidance you all provided at the work session. I'll leave it with that.
Okay, we need to put this before the council to approve the first reading of this proposed ordinance.
Make a motion
Motion.
to approve the first reading of this.
Okay, Annette, second, Vicki. Okay, any from council members, any comments or?
I do have a quick question, Chris. You said once the district is designated, that the people living there will be notified that they're in a historic district. If what they built 10 years ago isn't to the standards of what the commission are they gonna have to make changes, or only if they make significant changes down the road, then they would have to adhere and fall under that,
Correct.
correct?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay, well, this time, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's, this is exciting to me to finally move forward on historic preservation, because Ball Ground's the second oldest city in Cherokee County. We're older than Holly Springs, we're older than Woodstock. And so it's, our original city was laid out by the railroad that extended here. And they actually put together a survey in 1882 of our original city, kind of like Savannah. A lot of people don't realize we actually have a historic survey of our city, but probably the historical area will be designated in that original design of the city. But again, we will be discussing this more at work session next month, and also be voting on it. So hopefully we'll get that done and move forward, because the state requires a lot of time to put it together now. So it'll take months for the commission to actually move forward in getting it in place. So, but I think it's going to be very beneficial for the city. Okay, well, at this time, that's the only new item we had. Under the agenda I'm looking at, it says Chief of Police report, and the chief is not here.
Yes, Sergeant, yeah, I'm gonna give one.
Are you going to give one?
Sure.
Matt, good. Well, you were out of sight.
He's trying to hide, shrink down back there.
I was going to forward you guys with a bunch of numbers and things like that, because we're celebrating us for Police Week. We're working on the Guardians of the Galaxies concert. We have the plant sale. And we have Eric's out of maternity leave, so notice we had his baby. Congratulations there. Chief couldn't be here today, but he'll be back tomorrow. That's about all we've got going on right now.
Okay. Well, thanks for staying after.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have, I noticed that our speed limit on Valley Street is now 35.
It is.
Are we waiting for the cameras or the speed cameras or?
For the speed cameras
Yeah.
to be put up,
Mhm.
so which I believe we're waiting on the company themselves. But I can get with the chief tomorrow and get you the exact answer as far as how long we're gonna do that. But that is something that has been put in place and should be,
Has it been 30 days yet?
it has.
So we have had the 35 miles an hour.
It has, and we have not noticed a big increase in speed from that being said.
Mhm.
So from 25, yes, from 35, no.
Okay.
So that may have helped.
Are you able to enforce that? As
Yes.
everything, all i's and t's
Yes. we're
dotted
able
and
to-
crossed, so you're
radar
able,
And laser on that road, and we've been out there a few times, but haven't seen the significant speeds to actually enforce that, which is a good thing.
I personally have a hard time going 35. I'm used to 25, so
Well, you
I
know,
get people behind me and they get really upset. I'm still going like 28. I'm
I
like,
got a call yesterday, we need to make sure we adjust the school signs, because when you're coming up to it, it still flashes that you're going too fast. And some people were a little confused about the speed limit, so.
Right.
I
It's
said,
not a bad thing, though.
yeah, I just suggested that it's 25 in schools, so just remind you. But yeah, but I'll check on that and get back to you. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, again, on the agenda, it says city manager's comments.
I don't have any comments from the city manager, other than I hope his training has been enlightening down at Jekyll Island. He was away all week, learning about water, sewer, and doing what it takes to keep the liquids flowing.
Well, he always gets benefits from being there. And as most of you know that attend these meetings, what he provides generally is a lot of information. And so maybe we'll ask him to provide 2 months' information next time when he's here.
It's only fair.
But again, he will be updating us on the things that he's encountered, and I've already heard a number of things from him that will benefit us. And so, but we'll hear more from him than we did today. All right. At this time, let me make a comment. I was supposed to, when the Long Swamp Creek Recreation Park actually had an opening, I was out of town and I couldn't, but Scott actually spoke for the city, and since he's our Parks and Rec committee chairman, but he got quoted in the Tribune that I don't know if everybody heard it, but it says Scott Barnes called the new park a great amenity and something that will lead people to visit our city. That's true. We're going to have a lot of people coming to that. It's a beautiful park on the river where Long Swamp comes into the Etowah River. And we're going to have a lot more people from Cherokee County coming through Ball Ground and actually deciding to stop and enjoy us. So again, I just want to appreciate Scott doing that. Scott, do you have anything you want to add?
Just if you've not been down there in the week since it's opened, please visit. It's kind of in a couple phases, so you may be going, well, this is missing, but it's coming. So they've done a fantastic job with that property. It's very historic property that they shared there that day. I didn't even know about all the history that was there that went back even in the Revolutionary War time. So it's pretty pivotal to get that, and great collaboration between us, the city, and the county to make that park happen. So it'll link a canoe trail system on the Etowah that you can camp there and move on down. The county had just announced they got the Gopher Beach property that's at East Cherokee, and so that's about a 2-mile stretch, two-hour stretch to canoe and kayak in that park. Just go check it out. It's right out there. It's a fantastic looking place.
It is very historic too. Vicki?
Yeah, I do. Yes, of course.
Vicki?
I would like to say, and also it's about the parks, being a co-chair with the parks. This is more inside of our city. We have started already, when we were thinking outside the box, if anybody wanted to donate on your utility bill, on your water bill. I think it's $2, $3, and $5.
$1,
correct?
$3, and $5.
Excuse me, $1, $3, and $5. Strictly volunteer. If you'd like to support our parks, now this is on the new and improved Ball Ground parks. What we're trying to do on our master plan is to make the improvements, get us a splash fountain going, whether it's improving what we already have. Just something that, another way we can try to raise some money to try to make meet our goals for the parks plan. So anyway, just wanted to bring that. It's up and running. If you guys want to donate on your utility bill, just call City Hall. Is Carla still doing is it Carla, Chris?
You can email Eric too.
Or you can email Eric, and say, yes, I want to donate.
And the amount. Just send a quick email either to Carla or Eric and say that you want it added to your bill each month, $1, $3, or $5 a month. It's tax deductible.
Yes, it is.
So, and if you just want to make a donation in general, bigger to the parks, it's still tax deductible, so.
We won't turn it away, we promise.
It's very simple, similar to a roundup program.
Yes.
Roundup to the next dollar. So even if somebody does $1, it goes a long ways to make our community even.
And it'll show on your bill each month, as a reminder what that charge is for the donation for each month. And if you ever want to stop, you just do the same thing. Send an email saying, I want to stop, but hopefully not. Hopefully you'll just forget it's there and just keep it going.
Dennis, anything you want to bring up?
Please come out and support the garden club this Saturday. It's a huge event, and this money goes a long way to helping them to keep the botanical gardens looking good. So you can get some good deals out there, and they'll have some vendors, and come out and buy you some plants, take them home.
Gentlemen, get your Mother's Day gifts.
Yes.
At the plant sale. Some great gifts.
It is amazing. It's amazing how they put this together over the last few years. Isn't that right, Jenny?
That's right. Do appreciate your support.
Christine?
I did my say, so we'll just go right on down to Annette.
Annette?
So, yeah, I am very excited this year that I have some plants I've personally brought from North Carolina and planted and dug up a bunch. Maximilian sunflowers are unusual. They're perennials. They're the last thing to bloom. I know I brought 26 and other people dug up some, so we'll have a lot of them. And yellow shrimp plants, as long as we're making plug for a garden club. It's the first time I brought that, and it's pretty unusual. So that I'm excited about that.
Will
And
Dots be here?
the Long Swamp Park
Dots be here?
ribbon cutting was a
Well, last
great
year-
event, and I'm looking
Give
forward
it-
to when they
give it
rent
most of
canoes
it.
and stuff, because I don't have
I think they do,
anything brought right now.
the vendors. Chip-
So hopefully the rain will, the weather will cooperate. Everybody come see us.
I do want to add, for all you mothers out there, have a wonderful and happy Mother's Day weekend. Enjoy it.
That's true. That'll be an opportunity to get some gifts
Yeah.
for mothers. But I think last year we had people offering like mimosas and things on our property here that were good. So that's nice when you're walking around. There's so many people here and so many things to look at. But hopefully the weather will be good. It won't. They don't predict well. So maybe it won't be raining. But again, I appreciate you bringing that up, and you too. But at this time, does anybody want to address the council on any issue? Yes, come up.
Hello.
Hello.
Just before I say what I have to present to you guys, I've been a resident since November of 2023. I came looking at houses when I had a 3-month-old newborn baby, and we've lived in Woodstock and Canton, but kind of ventured out. Was a little bit nervous, if I'm honest, but we ended up buying a house over in the Creekside at Farmers Crossing neighborhood. And when I tell you, we love ball ground now. Like we joke because I'm 30, my husband's 31, and we say we're gonna stay here forever. We love this city. We love what all of you have done to make it such a sweet family city. So I wanted to say that before I present what I have for you. So just a thank you. But this I'm presenting on behalf of the HOA of Creekside of Farmers Crossing. I am the vice president of the HOA. So I'm going to read this and then I'll add a few comments. It says, "Dear members of the Ball Ground City Council, I am writing on behalf of the residents of Creekside at Farmers Crossing, a growing residential community located along Groover Street. We respectfully request the installation of 15-mile-per-hour speed limit signs on Groover Street throughout the neighborhood to enhance safety for our families, pedestrians, and local traffic. Creekside at Farmers Crossing is a family-oriented neighborhood that includes a significant number of children, including my own. Over time, we've observed an increase in traffic volume and speed from both residents and non-residents. Despite the residential character of the area and children out quite often, the lack of clearly posted speed limit signs contributes to frequent speeding, posing a risk for the safety and quality of life for everyone in our neighborhood. We're asking for these speed limit signs to be posted at the entrance of our neighborhood, along intervals down our neighborhood, and in heavy pedestrian areas. We believe this is a meaningful step in improving safety for everyone in the neighborhood. Additionally, we know that speed limit signs don't always fix the problem. So I have signatures. We're also asking that if we don't see any kind of progress in this that you guys consider installing speed bumps throughout our neighborhood. I'm going to add a couple personal comments. I live towards the end of our street. If you've been in our neighborhood, it goes downhill. I live towards the end at the bottom of the hill. We have had cars coming down that hill easily going 40 miles an hour. It's not just one time, it's all the time. We've tried to approach people about it. We saw the officers that were here and we were all waving at them. This is one of our other residents because they'll come through, do a drive-through, and they're so nice, and we ask them, like, we know you can't sit in our neighborhood and run radar, but it's just really bad. And we also know that typical speed limits for those streets are 25, but that's just too fast when there's little kids running. A lot of where we live at the end, kids live across the street. They're running out with their scooters and their bikes. We have a little, we call it the green man that says, please slow down, children. We've had one of those be crushed by a car driving through it. We've also had a scooter crushed by a car driving through that wasn't paying attention. So we're very open to any options. We would just want to make a motion to do something before somebody gets run over. Thank you. I also have signatures if I need to give that to you guys.
What's your name?
It's Jordan.
Jordan? And where do you live in?
Creekside at Farmers Crossing on Groover Street.
What number?
725.
My son lives.
He's our neighbor. That's so funny. We always know, we call it, it's the mayor's son. We see him. He's my neighbor.
But I've seen how many young kids are out in the street, and I think that's something we should do initially, at least put down.
Speed bump. They did them in, I was gonna say, because Lanterns Walk was having a problem and they did them. But what I would suggest is, I know you have signatures, but type it up as official petition for that. Go through and gather, because you need at least 80%, isn't it? No, I think it's more than that. I think it's 75 or 80%, something. But do it as a petition to have, because I'm telling you, the speed limit, I mean, I'm sure we could accommodate and put speed bumps are gonna be your biggest, it'll be your biggest friend on slowing the people down, because they hit those once or twice, they're gonna learn real quick to slow down, so.
Some people it won't, but they're just gonna be heavy foot. But for the majority, yes, it will. It will. People will respect the speed bumps.
The other part I wanted to kind of add to this that I don't know if can also be addressed is people don't realize, like, there's all the new houses being built. You have the ones on the hill and the townhouses. And so we don't currently have a sign. We have a sign that says, I think, like, no soliciting, no trespassing, something like that. That's near our mailboxes. But also we have lots and lots of through traffic. And I don't know if they're thinking there's new homes down there or they're confused. I have no idea. But that's also part of it, is there's just cars that go to the end and turn around, like 20 plus cars a day that are not there for any reason but turning around.
And the city could probably get a sign that no outlet, no through traffic, or something. So can you make a note of that, Chris, to get with Eric when he gets.
Talk further about that.
Yeah, I'm on the HOA. It's okay.
Public street. It's owned by the city.
I know, but it's just saying no through, so people know it.
Sure. Yeah, like a dead end sign.
Yeah,
Okay.
that they don't think that it goes someplace. If they realize that it's a dead end, it's like, well, what's the use of turning down that road? It's a dead end, so.
That's usually, the sign usually says dead end.
Yeah.
To keep people from.
No outlet, that's
Yeah, no.
reasonable.
Yeah.
Perfect. Sounds good.
But
Thank you.
Chris will bring, those things up to him too when he
Perfect.
gets back in town.
I know Eric well. My mom works for Black Sheep, who does y'all's Guardians and all the festivals, so I know them all well. I'm like, they're all my friends. So, sounds good. I really appreciate you guys.
I'll wave at you when I walk. I walk down through it all the time.
We love your son. He's so sweet. And his wife and their new baby. We always were like, lady, come over to our house. My baby's now a year and a half, so he's great.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
We'll try to act on that to improve cut the risk. Anybody else want to address us?
I just want to let everybody know that the park down there was my grandfather's land. Amos Wilson was my grandfather, and he owned it for many years, and then it was passed down to my dad and my aunt and uncle. And Charles lived down there for many years. And then the girls got the property and they sold it to Cherokee County. But he had owned it for many years. He even planted cotton in the past there was cotton planted there. When I was growing up, there was watermelons. Those things were so huge. And also he planted corn, he served cane. Potatoes was planted down there. The last thing that was really planted was potatoes, the Tater Chip Company. And they were so huge, they couldn't even gather them. They were so big. But it's a very historical Cherokee Indians that is a very, I've enjoyed that river. I live right above it. But it is a wonderful area for, but it's, yes. But he has owned it for, it's been in the Wilson family for many, many years. But the Cherokees, it's a lot of history.
Well, it's going to be a benefit to this whole community. And, you know, that was very historical. As a kid, every time the river flooded, my dad would take me and my brother there and we'd pick up pottery.
Yes.
I can't say Indian, I say Native American pottery and arrowheads. We'd find it come out of the river. So that was an area that where people were living first time they lived in this part of the state, where there was river and.
The watermelons, though, Rick?
But again, it is it's going to be a great benefit to us here in Ball Ground too. So I know you live next door. Anybody else? Okay, well, at this time, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn from the council.
Second.
Motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for attending. As some of you that are here often, you know,